Hey everybody, Old Buck Dave again. Welcome everybody. This is episode 107, and with me is none other than
none other than Old Buck Dell.
OBD.
Hey, buddy.
I guess we're both OBDs.
Yeah,
Now that I think about it. Yeah.
it's going to be an exciting episode. I'm telling you,
It's always exciting.
they better.
It's just a matter of degree, you know.
Listeners should be calling their friends up and telling them to listen to this one. They got a lot of interesting stuff to tell you. So let's hear what's on your mind.
I wanted to start off with Stump the Buck again, with something that we started two episodes ago. So
I'm ready.
Okay, you're ready. So you recall the first clue I gave you last time was 44. Now so I'm going to go on a lower number this time. Okay, so the number is 4. We're number 4.
We're when you say we are number 4, meaning like we are the United States is number 4.
Well,
you can't give me that clue.
Well,
okay, give me another
clue. Welcome to the Hotel California.
the Eagles. Okay, Hotel California. You can go in, but you don't come out. 4. I still don't got it.
Okay, last clue.
Last clue. Go ahead.
Last clue. Who has just displaced Germany as the world's 4th largest economic entity?
Say that again. Now, who has just replaced Germany
as the world's 4th largest economic entity after the U.S., China, and Japan?
India.
Look at clue number 2.
California.
California is now the world's 4th largest economy.
Oh, then they'll want to succeed. They'll definitely want to start their own country.
Well, I know they want to have a North California and a South California. I mean, it gives you an idea what a big economic chunk that California is. It's bigger than Germany, bigger than all but 3 countries in the world.
Well, I am telling you, recently I was on a trip, a little vacation kind of a thing, which I'll tell you about since I mentioned it.
Okay.
But the amount of traffic and the amount of industry and the amount of building and the amount of sort of businesses and stuff that I was passing, I mean, I was thinking, boy, oh boy, I mean, look how busy everything is.
Yeah.
I mean, the tractor trailers and geez, no road seemed wide enough.
Highways clogged. Oh yeah.
And the ones that were really wide were really fast, and so on and so forth. So I've just imagined just how packed every square inch of California must be to generate that kind of activity. So good luck to those folks.
Good luck to those folks. Yeah.
Yeah.
As California goes, so goes the country, I guess. I don't know.
All right, I'll give you a quick Stump the Buck thing, then I will tell you
you give me a Stump the Buck
story. Okay. Over the summer, a fisherman in northeastern Cambodia caught the world's largest freshwater fish. And it was, I didn't know this was considered a fish, but it was a giant stingray that measured 13 feet long and weighs 660 pounds. The stingray beat out the previous freshwater record holder of 646 pound catfish. That was also found in Thailand in 2005.
I know they have big catfish there. Yeah.
Right. What was the name of the river?
Jeez. Oh man. This was in Thailand.
Mm-hmm. I'll give you another clue. One of the largest and most productive rivers in the world, says Zeb Hogan, a research biologist at the University of Nevada. Millions of tons of fish are harvested in this river every year. And
so it's not the Yangtze.
No.
That's China. Okay. Mekong, that's Vietnam.
It is the Mekong River.
It is the Mekong River. Oh, okay.
The Mekong River. I always think about that because of the Vietnam War thing. You know, they were in the Mekong.
Yes.
And you think it was an entity, but it's a huge, large river. And this goes on to say that this river is an ancient old river that's big enough to let fish survive to these giant sizes.
Okay.
In other words, it's not so. How can I envisioned it being having open spaces where people weren't constantly fishing in it. You know what I mean? Or trying to net people. So this, what they call a fish, was actually a stingray. So it is the Mekong River.
Wow.
Yep, biggest freshwater fish.
So what's my prize?
We'll send you some old
Some
bucks. You know,
dried
bucks.
catfish. Yeah. Never.
Anyhow, you got it. You figured
yeah,
it out.
Oh,
In that
okay.
river.
All right. So anyway, so let's look forward to doing this again next time.
So let me tell you about my adventure. I'm just
tell me about your venture here. That's what I'm waiting to hear about.
Okay, you know, you did a little traveling over the summer.
I did.
And when I go on an adventure, I mean, I try to pick someplace maybe I haven't been before, but did you find it like there was always a close call maybe, or something, you know, happens to you along these trips? It always seems to happen to me.
Close call? You mean like traffic accident?
Yeah, maybe there was an accident in front of you, or somebody pulled out in front and you just missed them, or.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
You wonder like, oh man,
was I lucky or what?
Was I lucky? You know, yeah. In a foreign country, even, yeah.
Yeah. Well, so yours truly goes off on a reasonably short adventure, and I'm on my way home, and I decide to take the slow route back, which would mean I'm going to weave through some local residential districts and take a couple side roads, et cetera, because it looks like it would get me to where I want to go, and I'll eventually make it.
You want to avoid the interstate, which is,
well, I tried to, but clogged. It was just as crowded. It was the roads were just as crowded. I didn't really gain much in that sense. I just went slower.
Okay.
I mean, the thought being an accident at 40 mile an hour will be survivable. So let me tell you, I had to tell you this. It's so funny. I studied it, looked at the Google Maps, did everything, and I had it all planned out. I was going to go this way, but I was not curious about one little intersection. It was kind of strange. So I comes up to the first intersection as I start the trip. I wasn't even a quarter mile from my beginning. And I said, oh, when I think I have to go here. Oh, okay. I turn left here. So what do you think I do? I turn left on a one-way street coming the other way.
Oh, boy.
Oh, no, listen to this. Now, this is not just a one-way street. This is 4 lanes of traffic. 4 lanes of traffic.
You mess up. You
coming
mess
in
up
my
good.
directions. And you talk
coming
about
at you.
A series of events. A work truck with some guys in it had turned in earlier, and they put their flashes on and opened their doors, and they're waving to me, turn around, turn around, turn around. And I realized what I did.
Oh gosh, I laughed, but that's scary. Yeah.
It is scary. It was scary. So this gets worse. So I throws it in reverse, and I said, oh, there's an alley behind me. So I'm looking at the traffic. I should have been looking at the alley.
That's what I would do if that's where I was
wasn't. I was watching the traffic coming.
Okay, you're watching them barrel down.
So I go down, and I did a blind turn into the alley and stopped just where the nose of the vehicle was on the sidewalk, where it was clear. And I said, "Whew, that was close." And I looked in the mirror. I was 3 millimeters away from a big pickup truck. On his right front fender would have completely taken out my back tail lights. That whole quarter panel would have been gone. And then my knees really got weak. I came that close. So finally the traffic went by, and I was able to go left again. Got out of that. I said, I didn't even make it 1 mile away from start.
Oh, geez.
1 mile away from start. So anyhow, I made it out into the mainstream, found my way home about 2 hours, which would have been normally about an hour and a half trip. It was about a 2-hour trip. But something else happened along the way.
Something better than that, even.
No, it's just this happens to everybody. This happens to everybody. I assume you stop along the way to eat.
I've been to do that. Yeah.
You got to do something. You pick a restaurant by chance, maybe, or something, or a name that you're familiar with. And you stop to get something to eat. All right. So I did the same thing off and on throughout my little adventure, even though I wasn't traveling around. I was just in the town there checking some restaurants out. And in the restaurants, there's a sign that says what? In the restroom. Where is the sign to see? saying to restaurant.
Employees must wash hands.
Right, right.
I got it right. That's like,
Employees must wash hands.
mm-hmm.
And then I said to myself, the next time I do this, I'm going to carry a sticker, a little, a little sticker that when I see that sign, I'll put a little sticker beside it that says, except for Mikey, he'll touch anything.
Oh, jeez.
Hey, every time I see that, I say, well, except for you, please, employees must wash hands, but you don't have to wash your hand. Let's be clear.
Man.
Doesn't that ever strike you as funny? Like there could be an exception to that rule?
There's an exception to the rule. Absolutely.
Except for Mikey.
Except for Mikey. He can do whatever he wants.
So that was the only spot of humor in my
You've had a tough day then. Huh?
Yeah, it was the only spot of humor that I managed to laugh. And again, I had to do that by myself. You know what I mean? No, only you would.
Did you go to the Ponce de Leon Hotel to collect frequent flyer points or something?
I did not. I did not. We had already reached the bottom of the barrel there. So what I did was we kicked it up a couple of stars.
Uh-huh.
And we were quite happy with this location and things. So we're thinking next trip out, if we do 2 more stars, we'll probably have reached, although we've seen some really nice 5 and 6 star operations. I said, wow, it would be interesting to stay in this location. But it was a nice location, not inconvenient to what we wanted to do in that. So it was fun.
So this was just another, like a romantic interlude.
A little romantic adventure.
Nice. Yeah.
Which is always, after 30 years of marriage, you know what that amounts to. Like, why didn't you turn on this street?
We're going to die.
Yeah, why did you turn on this street? Did you see it was a one-way street? I'm sorry, dear. Okay. So anyhow, that's my story about the adventure.
Okay,
so.
And you're sticking to it. Okay, well, hey, welcome back alive. I'm glad you made it back alive in time for the podcast.
Yeah, I did.
That I checked the records here, and the podcast several back where it was one old buck.
Oh yeah,
you couldn't make it. Yeah, that was like our lowest rated podcast ever. So,
hey, I got
clearly they're here to hear you.
Oh yeah. What kind of what kind of situation I find myself in? I got something else I wanted to tell you. Did you ever hear of a radio program or a podcast called Growing Bolder?
I have not. Bolder, no.
Growing Bolder, believe it or not, is 2 men talking about aging. How about that? Is that, like two guys get together and talk about stuff. How about that?
There you go.
Wow. And it's a much more
successful novel idea.
Yeah. Novel idea.
People actually listen to theirs, or is that what you're trying
I think
to
they have advertising and the crew and production and everything. That kind of like professionals. But what was interesting about this, they were talking about the positive side of aging. They interviewed people that were interesting, would be interesting to someone our age. And I thought that was pretty cool. And in order to explain it to you or to anybody who might be listening, it would be like the people on Growing Bolder would say, go to the Grand Canyon and, take the walking tour and do the jogging and go to the information, center and ride the donkeys and fly a helicopter and just be bold and energetic. And, so that's the way they describe something like going to the Grand Canyon, unlike the 2 old bucks. So I'm making a comparison here. So
go to the Ponce de Leon.
No, if the 2 old bucks say go to the Grand Canyon, it's like Dave's holding the camera and he's saying to Dell, a little bit closer to the edge. A little bit. I can get a better picture if you just get a little bit closer to the edge there. Like,
chopping off your head there. Step back.
Just step back a couple of feet, did you? Like, oh, you okay? Anyhow, that'd be the comparison of the 2 styles. So I thought that was pretty neat. So if somebody wants to listen to something like that, that's called Growing Bolder. They have a radio program and a podcast. So thought I'd throw that out there.
Okay. Hey, speaking of podcasts, got some letters from afar here. And I might as well start with a listener commented that he enjoyed the JR episode, and he particularly liked the 3 questions at the end. which we obviously didn't really answer, kind of ran out of time. But, I'm thinking about it. That might be something for us to think about. Now, we've just started this stump the buck thing, but maybe that's more food for thought there. But again, it was somebody else took the time to write in and say they liked the episode with JR. And so we're going to have to do some more of that with JR. That was fun. Another letter from afar here. You remember we talked about Valentin, our major listener in Moscow, who built the old Bucks, two old Bucks community in Moscow there. And of course, we mentioned he moved to Lithuania to escape the Putin crazyism. And he just sent some videos of his new apartment in Klaipėda, Lithuania. He said it needs some work, but it's in a nice area. It's close to the water, and he loves the water. And he sent a couple pictures of the waves washing in. So best to Valentin and Nada, and in their new life in Klaipėda.
I have great respect for that type of boldness. You know that?
Oh yeah, that was.
I mean, it's one thing to go someplace for fun, and another thing to go someplace and start again.
Yeah.
Under kind of a little bit of duress. So
yeah,
I wish them the very, very best. If he's still listening, all the best to you, Valentin.
Yep, absolutely. And we also got a cautionary note here from this is a comment on your mattress surgery. He said, "You need a disclaimer. Don't try anything Dell does. He is a Rolodex of insanity." So I guess that's kind of a compliment, but it's a warning also. So
I'm glad you mentioned that. Because I have something I tried that falls under that category.
Talk to me.
You remember a while back I told you I had this 4-poster bed. Actually, I inherited it. Someone said, "Do you want a 4-poster bed?" And I said, "Oh, okay. What the heck,
Okay.
So it's got 4 posts on it with the proper stuff that you could put a lid on it if you wanted to, but I threw all that away. I remember I said on this bed I was trying to improve my radio reception.
Yes.
I had wires,
stringing wires all over.
I had string wires from
top
of each post to each post and went down.
Why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you? It's obviously a perfect place for that. But it did not pick it up. It did not pick up the radio signal on my Henry Kloss. I was playing around with it. Turns out the Henry Kloss has to keep positioning the antenna, and I was unable to do that. So I gave up on that. So for the other day, I thought of another use for those poles,
for the posts.
For the posts.
The bed posts.
Right, the bed posts. Now, I'm sure all the lady listeners out there know what it's like to fold a fitted sheet. Have you ever tried folding a fitted sheet, Dave?
Yeah, I folded a fitted sheet.
Okay, so you
not nicely, not very well.
and therein lies the
that's the dilemma, huh?
Yeah, that's the dilemma.
And you've got a solution, I'm guessing.
Well, the solution, I think you see where I'm going with this. I said, if I had some way to hold this sheet, if I had some way to hold this fitted sheet, and here in front of me is standing a post.
Okay.
So I said, if I just put this end and together and hang it over this post and pull it tight, I'll have her made, because the other end I can manipulate, right?
So you got the sheet over how many posts? One, two?
I only have it over one post.
Okay.
I only have one because I'm pulling it on the other side myself. So then I take it and I fold it again and put all 4 of the fitted ends on the post, and it's sort of straighten it all up. I'm ready to pull it tight. You see what I mean? I've got it squared up. Are you following me?
I'm trying to follow you. Yeah.
So you got
all 4 corners hanging there.
Right. And
you're smoothing them out.
Right. I'm smoothing them out. And now I'm going to, I've got a half, it's sort of folded in half. Now I'm holding the other end that has no fitting and no fitted portions. And I said, hey, all I got to do now is just lift this thing off gently, and I'll be able to fold it nice and neat and put it away. And I'll get 5 stars from the missus for putting it away.
Yeah.
And the only thing I recommend you don't do is when you lift it off the bedpost, make sure it's not under your ceiling fan.
You didn't do that.
I did.
You did.
I did. And when the fan started to,
They say when it hit the
it
fan.
was right. Yeah. When the sheet hit the
When
fan.
the sheet hit the fan. So that's what you were working up to, when the sheet hit the fan. Oh, jeez. Oh. Oh, man.
Oh,
No.
so anyhow, it didn't work. So I
Didn't
don't
work.
recommend. I don't recommend you try that because it's better just get your wife to hold the other end.
Jeez, and I had this picture of all the subset of our listeners who have 4-post beds. They're taking copious notes here on how to do this. Don't try anything Dell does. Don't try. Jesus.
Oh my!
Oh my!
I got tears in my eyes. Okay.
Oh man!
So what were you going to tell me? I don't know what. I didn't set that up to be a joke. That's a true story. I was actually working on that. Never thought about it being so funny.
So how many sheets did it turn into?
It didn't tear, but it stopped
didn't
the fan.
Tear.
Yeah,
it stopped the fan.
I was ready to get it before it pulled it out of the ceiling. So.
Oh, oh man! Do not try it. So,
that's kind of funny story when I think
it is kind of funny. Oh man!
Anyhow, Dave, what else you got on your mind? I don't know what made me tell you that, but that's a true story.
Well, I got a dumb story to tell.
Okay.
All right. So this is kind of like yours. This would qualify as a public service announcement. Pretty sure. I was rooting through the shelves in my garage. I've got some high shelves. I was looking for some touch-up paint. So obviously something I was going to touch up. I don't even remember what it was anymore. But way up on the top shelf, I bumped something, and a jar of red nail polish came tumbling down. Gravity sucked it right down to the floor, splattered all over the floor. The glass went everywhere. The red shoe polish. I'm sorry, the red fingernail polish. It was all. It looked like a modern art painting on my garage floor. So what do you do? What do you do? Something.
Are you able to wipe that stuff up?
Well, no,
it dries instantly.
It did dry just about instantly. I tried to swab it up a little bit, and I'd smeared it, made it look worse. And there was a can of paint thinner sitting by. I dumped some of that on. Didn't do anything to it. So I said to my wife, I said, "Where's your nail polish remover? Where's your nail polish remover?" So she runs around. She digs her bottle of nail polish remover out. Try it. Doesn't do anything. And there's the modern nail polish remover does not contain acetone. And if it doesn't have acetone, it's not really nail polish remover. It didn't do anything.
That's acetone usually will take that off, and the garage floor paint or whatever.
And the paint, yeah. So my neighbor said, "I'll give you something." He said, "It'll take the garage paint, the floor paint off with it." So that's where I am. That's my dumb thing here.
So now you got to paint the garage floor too.
I got to clean up the garage floor. Yeah.
Hey, you were telling me that on a more serious note, you were telling me you lost a friend.
I did. Yeah. I'd like to.
What was that about?
I'd like to mention that. I went to. It was called a Celebration of Life the other day. For a fellow that I've known for 10 or 12 years, who died recently. His name was Wolfe Zucker. And we met, as I say, 10 or 12 years ago in a memoir writing class at the local college here. We were just so different in so many ways. He grew up as a New York City Jew, and I grew up as a small town WASP. And his career, a lot of his career was in counseling, dealing with people and sorting out people's problems, et cetera, et cetera. Of course, I'm basically an engineer. So, I worked with things all my life. I couldn't deal with people. I could deal with physical things, I guess. And he was kind of mystical in a way, whereas I was more like material. To give you some examples, he believed in leprechauns. Okay. And he would talk about, seeing leprechauns in Ireland. And he said he could read the minds of animals. Okay. and he said rocks talk to him. And I said, I said, I'm just not so sure about that, Wolf. But I said, if you from my point of view, if you can't measure it, it doesn't exist. And we'd get into discussions about dimensions beyond our 4 space-time dimensions and stuff like that. And were there 10 dimensions or 27 dimensions, and what do they do to us? And of course, neither one of us knew what we were talking about.
But knowing you, he became a friend.
We loved each other's boyhood stories and young manhood stories. His about growing up in his world in the city, and me growing up in, in a small rural town. And we really got to peek at each other's worlds and what it was like growing up in a whole different way. And, and kind of how that shaped us into the people that we were. It was a really nice ceremony. A lot of people are going to miss him, me included. And hey, who knows? Maybe the Rocks will miss him too. I'm not going to say he's wrong. Okay, I'm not going to say he's wrong. I've got no proof that he was wrong, but he was a great guy, and we're worse off. The world's worse off without him. So rest in peace, Wolf.
I recently ran into a lady who lost her husband. I'd known her for quite some time, but after he had passed away, they had some very specific things they wanted to do, and talked to her for a while. So finally, I ran into her several months after he had passed away, and I find it interesting. What do you say? And I really gave it some thought about, geez, what do I say? Everything else, everything else is kind of a moot point, like how did it happen.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even want to bring any of that up.
And you're not going to say how you doing.
I'm not going to say. That's exactly what I'm not going to say is how you doing. So anyhow, I run into her, and I did not ask that question, but I think it's something us old bucks have to contend with. I think we have to think about those things as our circle of life gets narrower. We run into those situations where someone does pass away, and you do go to a celebration of life, or you meet them thereafter. I know I certainly missed the guy myself, because he was kind of a bit of a character, and I enjoyed talking to him. But we kept it on the high side, on a high note.
Yeah.
Did not try to drag that out. She's obviously still in mourning. So,
well, the good thing is, even though we're losing friends and we're losing relatives, they're still in your heart. They're still there.
Yeah.
I think about my dad every day, 1982.
Mm-hmm.
So they never go away. So that's the good thing, I guess.
Anybody have any thoughts on that? I would be interested in hearing any listener that felt interested enough to maybe send a tip on the best way to deal
where would
with
they
some of
send that tip? Where would they send it?
That would be buckstwoold@gmail.com, I think is.
That would work. buckstwoold@gmail.com. Yeah. Okay. Hey, let me give you something on a lighter note here as we approach the end of our segment.
Mm-hmm.
If you recall again, JR told us about lead weights in fish in a fishing tournament.
Yeah, cheating
tournament.
Increase the weight of the fish, so because they measure that on the size of the fish and the weight of it to win the tournament.
Yeah.
So what do we run into now?
Well, I just learned about another major scandal here in the world of sports. This was at the American Cornhole League Championships. Big problem. So this, I guess, was in the finals or whatever, and the one team challenged the other as they're challenged that their bags were too small.
Oh,
okay. So
I was going to say, how could you cheat in that sport unless you made a bigger hole on one side, but then you do switch sides, so that wouldn't help. So they make a smaller bag by a couple.
They made a smaller bag, so they stopped and they measured. The judges measured the bag, and they said, "Yep, these bags are too small. These are not legal." And then the guys who just got their wrists slapped said, "Well, we challenged their bags." So the judges measured the other team's bag, the team that made the initial challenge. Said, "Oh, your bags are too small too." So what are you going to do?
So you have to reclassify the.
Well, the judges just said, "Oh well, everybody's cheating. Let's just play on." So
Yeah, I was going to say they're both
that's what they
using.
did. Yeah.
Maybe maybe if you had you hosted a golf tournament, and then instead of having a standard cup size or something, you moved it over by another inch and a half. That,
Yeah.
that would make a big plus to golf if you was
Yeah.
a cheat like
Geez.
that, open the size of.
Yeah. These cornholers, the top cornholers, as it were, they make like 250,000 a year. That's not bad. And they resort to things like boiling their bags. I guess to shrink them, soaking them in vinegar. I guess that makes them slippery or something like that. I don't know.
I thought I could have made money doing something like that wasn't so hard on me, like football or something.
Yeah.
I'd have learned to play that game when I was a kid. Although I didn't even know there was a game like that until I was probably in college or something.
No, absolutely not. But I don't know. Cornhole. Who'd have thunk people would cheat at cornhole? It's like pro cycling. Everybody knows everybody else is cheating. I guess I don't.
Hey, speaking of sports, have you been following the series?
Oh yeah, it's as of right now, it is 3-2 Houston. Another interesting game last night. Of course, by the time we go live with this, we'll go live with this pretty soon, actually. So
you're playing. So if Houston wins, that's it. If they can win tonight, they would win.
They can. Well, I believe this is a travel day, right? Back to Houston today. I think this is a travel day. I'm not sure. But anyway.
But still, they win one more and they win.
They win one more and they win.
Now, watching these two teams play and my little bit of understanding of baseball, and I definitely watch the pitchers and the way they're playing.
Because you were a pitcher.
I was a pitcher, and I'm impressed. I'm impressed with some of this stuff, and I'm also impressed with the hitters. I mean, those guys, they are just giants. Yeah. So I'd be hard pressed to pick a winner. I mean, Phillies could easily tie that. They could easily tie.
Yeah. I'm rooting for the Phils. That's the Pennsylvania team. I lived in Philadelphia for a couple of years.
So we shall see. It'll be a thriller, except sometimes I don't step that late to finish them. So
that is the problem.
We'll see.
That is the problem. Yeah.
All I know, the best team will win, and there's still some excellent players out there on both sides. So
yeah, it's been a fun series. No hitter, combination no hitter thrown, and of course Bryce Harper is showing people that he really is worth $330 million with this.
Oh yeah!
Wow.
See, I don't understand that. I don't understand that. I don't think any player's worth that kind of money. I just don't think they're. I think there are lots of players could be having a chance to make $2 million a year or even $10 million a year. There's got to be some more, more stars out there for one player to make that kind of money. And then to me, it just makes the ticket price so high I can't attend the game.
That's what happens. So, well, we could have a discussion on that alone, but unfortunately, we're going to run out of time here in about 30 seconds. So,
and our 150 listeners said,
well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to say, thanks, everybody. This is Old Buck Dave saying bye-bye for now.
And this is Old Buck Dale joining him that.
All right. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.